Did you know that diamonds are a girl's best friend? And so are fancy couture shoes, beautiful designer clothes. We all crave the ultimate lifestyle and the fancy gadgets that go with it. But no lifestyle would be complete without the ultimate sporty car. For example, the new Mercedes C-Class Sports Coupe. But is it the most eligible bachelor in town? Well, it's a young person's car, or at least for the young at heart. Being a Mercedes, it's aimed at an owner with deep pockets and built for a driver who wants that sporty feel, coupled with a prestigious badge. It's also a very practical car. It's 18 centimetres shorter than the C-Class Saloon, which places it firmly in the Volkswagen Golf territory. It's an easy parker, it's comfortable around the urban jungle, and it has a hatch for easy loading. And of course for plenty of shopping, because let's face it, it'll be doing lots of it. £21,790 buys you this compressor 2-litre model. Expensive for just shopping in. But there are lots of extras: 7-spoke alloys, full leather trim, airbags everywhere, and all the electronics Mercedes could muster. The Sports Coupe has 4 engines to choose from. Now this particular model is the 2-litre version with a supercharger. It feels pretty powerful, but not quite as good as I thought. It's got 163 brake horsepower at 5,300 RPM, and it'll get to 60 miles an hour in a tad under 10 seconds. It's not bad, but of course it is heavy for a small car. Now the overall look of the car is very funky, and it certainly works. The front end is sharp but still elegant. It's definitely Mercedes from the front. Not too sure about the rear though. It's a little bit stubby and it looks a little bit Japanese from a distance. It's not until you get up close that you actually see how many innovative design features are there on the rear alone. There's a piece of glass underneath the spoiler. Now from outside the car it actually looks like a piece of bodywork, but from inside you look in the rear view mirror and you can see it straight through it. What a great idea. Not only does it give a better view through the rear windscreen, but when you reverse parking it's perfect. It's so helpful, it really works. But that's not the best of it. The most innovative design feature about this car is that panoramic sunroof. It's a real peach. But exotic fruit comes at a price, and £1,700 extra buys you this double electronic sunroof with sliding blinds and 30% more transparency. Great, isn't it? If you live in the south of France. Now the interior of the car is really cool. It's lovely, and the strange thing is that everything kind of wraps around perfectly, and all the instruments and the steering wheel seem to be set pretty high, but you've still got a commanding view of the road. Now the seats look quite plain, but again really comfortable. They've got a nice long base, they're very supportive, they're not too firm, and the overall ride of the car is more than comfortable. Speaking of which, if you are actually sat in the back, maybe not such a good ride. There is some rather sporty looking rear seats in there which are angled greatly, but unfortunately the view from the side window isn't that great, and there's hardly any leg room. Might be a bit uncomfortable on a long journey. Now the car comes standard with a 6-speed manual gearbox, but it's a very clever one indeed. With the optional sequential gearing, you get clutchless, precise gear changes that offer that sporting element. While in the auto shift mode, you'll find an intelligent computer is working out your driving style and compensating accordingly. Mercedes call it Secutronic, but it will control you after a while, and maybe that'll take some of the joy away. And as for the driving experience as a whole, well, I think it's good, even though it does lack that little bit of power. It's an interesting mix, it's sporty, but at the same time it's elegant. It's like the suspension really, it soaks up the bumps good, but you still can feel the road through the steering wheel and through the pedals, but it's not an uncomfortable experience at all. They've managed to get that balance just right, I think. This car reminds me of a sparkly gem, gleaming, appealing, pristine on the outside, but under closer inspection, it's not exactly flawless.